What's up, y'all? We are back. This is episode 25 of the Nashville Stampede Out of the Park Baseball 24 series. And I'm picking up a little earlier than I usually do. It's May 6th, 2032, but man, there's a lot to update on this team. I mean, we've had some injuries. Alex Harrington went out for a bit. Cam Robinson's out now, and he was out a little bit early in the year, but yeah, we're third in runs scored, first in runs against, but man, this freaking rotation has been insanely good. You take out Milt Almond, who's, he's been bad. There's really no way around it. But Emilio Marquez, an ERA under 2 at this point. He's been amazing. Drew Hackenberg, his ratings are not good, but man, he just continues to pitch like a guy who deserves to be in a rotation. There's really no denying the results. Like a 1.21 ERA. The FIP is obviously higher, but it's not even like bad either. So Drew Hackenberg has actually been our ace here, 5-0 in 30 innings and 6 starts. They're not throwing him deep into games or anything. He did pitch seven shutout innings last start, but yeah, he's been amazing. Patrick Sandoval has been an awesome signing so far. He had this one bad game, but you take that out, man, he's had 6 really good starts to begin the season. I guess you can go back even to his first start, which was here, 4 innings, 1 run. I think that's the one. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he's had the one bad game, but besides that, he's been lights out. It's 8 2/3, 1 run, 3 starts ago. He's been amazing. And Tink Hence, our $1.5 million free agent signing, he's been awesome. Walking a few too many guys, and the strikeout rate's not quite where you'd want it to be, and the FIP is high. But the results have been very good so far for Tink. Milt Almond, I don't know. It might be time to give up on him as a starter. I just don't think the control is gonna play. He's had this issue. I guess the first 2 years don't really count, but he's had this issue in the minors too, like where he's never had a walk rate like under 4 at any point besides like this 14 inning stretch, but he's never been able to keep the ball under control, and he might just be better off as a reliever. Unfortunately, his stuff plays up a little bit, but I still think that's a valuable reliever. But I'll try him out as a starter for a few more starts. We're not suffering. If these 4 guys keep pitching like this, Almond giving us a stinker every 5 games to work some things out isn't going to kill us. But when these guys eventually do regress to being, league average pitchers like they have been throughout their careers, Almond putting up a stinker every 5 days is going to hurt us. But yeah, besides that, the offense has also been good. Maybe not as good as last year, but Mike Molinax, what a year he's had so far in 30 games. I mean, it's only 100 plate appearances, small sample size and everything, but yeah, he's back to the guy he was a couple of years ago. 9.2 WAR he's projected for. Eric Kennedy's getting some starts here with an injury to... Who the heck got hurt? It was Harrington, so he's getting some starts against lefties. He's been really good when he's out there. Small sample size, like minuscule sample size. But Kira, he's been great. On pace for 10 WAR. On pace for 60 stolen bases as well. Playing his usual great center field. He always gets off to good starts and then kind of fades as the season goes on. Hopefully he can keep it up for a full season this time. Nadley, following up his MVP campaign last year, has been good. I mean, not as good as he was last year, but he's been, I shouldn't say good. He's been great. Just not the MVP guy he was last season. His defensive ratings have also dropped a bit. It's concerning, but we have him for 3 more years after this one, and we'll see. We'll see how he ages. Maybe he's a DH down the road, but yeah, Frank Reyes bounced back big time this year. He's walking at a higher clip. The overall offensive output's been much better than last year. Ronald Acuna continues to play well. Not quite as good as last year, but it's small sample size. That goes both ways. And then Eddie Els, this is a really interesting one. He's at 0 WAR on the year, despite having a really good, really solid 112 WRC plus. And the defense is about league average, so he shouldn't be a replacement level player. This has been happening all year. Even when he had a 130 WRC plus, he had negative WAR. It was very weird. but I guess that's the WAR calculation in this game. I'm not sure what actually goes into that, but yeah, PJ Orlando's been solid. Low BABIP, so I hope he can bounce back. He got off to a pretty nice start. I can't really look at the splits per month, but it felt like he was a lot better at the beginning of the season. But yeah, if he gives us 25 home runs as a part-time player, totally cool with that. Chris Grimm's been good as our backup catcher. Hopefully he can keep improving. Grady Emerson, just called him up from AAA after Harrington went down. He has not really gotten to play a lot, actually, at all. This is all levels. Yeah, he hasn't gotten to play yet, but he's backing up a little bit. Then Aiden Harris, been disappointing. I kind of saw this coming, but he's still at positive WAR. I guess his defense at third's been good. But yeah, hopefully he can turn it around. But I don't expect him to put up that season he had last year where he was like, a all-star level hitter. Jaden Stroman's been disappointing with the bat, but good with the glove. 2.5 zone rating in 30 games is definitely good. But hopefully he can keep improving, become like a slightly below league average hitter instead of a really, really bad hitter. And then Carter Smith's been disappointing, but small sample size, whatever. So I just want to check in there because I thought this first month was really interesting, especially with the rotation kind of playing over their heads and kind of the storyline of Milt Almond having to, he'll get a couple more starts here, but I'm almost ready to give up on him as a starter after a pretty bad year last year too. And, Talon Bell's pitched well out of the bullpen so far, and Gardini's here too, who can kind of slot into a spot if we need him to. But yeah, it's been good. 21-9, nothing to complain about there. The Royals are hot on our tails. Of course it's early in the year, but yeah, they seem to be back. At least early indications show that. They do have old friend Wilman Diaz playing well as their 2-hitter. Yeah, it's crazy. You would never sniff the 2 spot in my lineup. But yeah, the division looks back this year after a rough year last season. But yeah, we're going to sim up probably to mid-June. Or maybe if something happens, we'll pop in and update then. Also, really quick before we take off and go to the next checkpoint, I want to update on Bob Long. He was a first-round pick in 2030. This was after the disappointing year, I think, and he had the 24th pick. One of the earliest draft picks we've had in the save. And so basically I drafted him as a two-way guy. Let me just pull up kind of how he stands. So I drafted him mostly as a pitcher, actually. I liked his ratings. You kind of see, I drafted him down, I guess down here somewhere, where, he looked like a really stud of a pitcher. I think, what year did we draft him? 2030, so it was actually, here. It was these ratings, 60, 60, 65. So, I thought he would be a good pitcher, and then, the bat looked pretty similar to where he is right now. I guess he was a little bit better as a player. He was somewhere around here, 70, 55, 45. And, this is the same, only shown as a pitcher. Shoot. But anyway, he was about this hitter, I should say. He maybe a little bit better, but he's fallen off a bit. But yeah, as a pitcher, he's been horrible. He was good in 2031 in A-ball as a 22-year-old, and I called him up to high A, and he couldn't do anything. And this year, gave him 2 starts. He's been horrible. His ratings have fallen off to I don't even see him as a pitcher anymore. So to help his development as a hitter, I am officially making him only an outfielder. I think he still has good enough ratings to make the majors at some point, and he's hit really well in Double-A. And I don't want his hitting development to fall behind because of his pitching and trying to make him work as a pitcher. So I'm making the executive decision to end his development as a pitcher. Maybe he still works out as a pitcher. I'm not sure kind of how that works in this game, but yeah, I'm going to keep him down in Double-A for a few more weeks. Maybe the beginning of June, we'll call him up to Triple-A, and then he'll probably be ready at some point, maybe late in the season or whatever, early next year to make an appearance. And then Robbie Watkins, the other guy I wanted to talk about, missed all of last year due to the elbow injury that he suffered in spring training. This year, I started him in high A, and I'm probably going to call him up to Double-A right now. His ratings have developed really nicely. He is fragile, which is It's not a deal breaker yet, but because it's only been the one injury since we drafted him. But he's the number 24 prospect in baseball, and I think he's ready for a little challenge here. So I'm going to send him up to Double A right now after 6 really good starts in High A. He did miss a whole year of development, so this isn't like crazy to call him up to Double A this soon, and this few starts in High A. The peripherals definitely play. Like, he doesn't give up home runs, walks a few guys, that's expected, and then striking out a ton. So I think he's ready. Some other guys, this guy Zayed Amazon, he was a 5th round pick in 2029. I like how his ratings have come along, but he has not produced the results at any level. Just got to monitor, I guess. I like him long term as maybe a catcher, backup catcher, or part-time DH. Sprav, who was a 1st round pick, supplemental pick, he's in High A, playing fine, but he's going to need more time. Then Balder is our other supplemental 1st round pick, hitting really well, not hitting for much power, so I need to see a little bit more of that before I promote him. But those guys are on a good track right now. And then Joey Nelson, a guy who's coming along really nicely, has not produced an A ball yet, but he'll probably be a call up in June to High A just because of his ratings. So there's a prospect check-in, just a quick rundown of how everyone's doing, and we'll hop back in just a sec. Okay, so we're back. It's July 11th. It went a little farther than I thought, but there was not a ton to update on. There's been some minor injuries and stuff, but we'll go over quickly how everyone's doing here at a little past the midseason point. So Kira continues to, hold his own as a top player. Has, fallen off just a little bit, but still projected for 8 WAR. This is kind of the guy he is at this point, and I wouldn't want another superstar on my team. Really, he's just really solid. He's more than solid. He's amazing. Then Adley Rushman continues to play really well. 144 WRC plus this year. Not going to follow up his 174 last year, but on pace for 6 WAR. We'll take that all day from our star catcher and highest paid player. And then Ronald Acuna's turned it on a bit. 140 WRC plus at this point in the year. On pace for 4.5 WAR. Playing a lot of outfield, and he's been horrible out there. So, actually, before I forget, I'm going to move Eddie Els back. I put Els at DH. Still about a replacement level player overall, but he's fallen off just a bit. But let's put Acuna at full-time DH. He's been really bad in the outfield. And then Mike Mullinax, who is actually 2nd on the team in WAR, tied with Rushman. What a year he's had. 140 WRC plus as well. 3.5 WAR, on pace for 6.5. This has been his best offensive season so far here at age 27. Hopefully he can keep it up. He's been great. And Jaden Stroman breaking out here this season after a couple. He played a lot last year, but he was more of a backup player. And the first year, he was a fill-in type. But breaking out here at age 25, about a league average hitter, playing good defensive shortstop. Not quite as good as he was early in the year, but still been a really quality shortstop for us. And then Frank Correa has fallen off a bit since his hot start, but still getting on base, walking a ton, and maybe I'll move him at a leadoff spot. I'm not sure. It could be Mullinax's spot, but we'll see. Maybe that'll be a after All-Star break thing. We're here at the Rule 5 draft, the first-year player draft, which is kind of why I hopped in. And then Grady Emerson, who we called up, playing quite a bit over at third base, and he's been really solid at that spot. And then Aiden Harris, still not really hitting much. We've moved him to first base part-time. He's been good there. He's been good at third. So the defensive value's been solid, but the bat has not followed up after last year's awesome season where he won Rookie of the Year. Chris Grimm's been good as our backup catcher, just not playing a ton. Unfortunate that he's Rushman in front of him. Carter Smith's been much better moving into the season a little farther, and a little below league average at the bat, but walks a ton, which is not really part of his game, but he's shown it 2 years in a row where he's walking at a 12% clip, which is valuable as a bench player. And then Eddie Els, been about league average at the bat. Defensively, he's nothing special. I really hope he can turn it on. I wonder if he has any. He's actually not been great against righties. Against lefties, limited plate appearances, but he's been fine. So maybe we give him more of a shot there. And then Eric Kennedy's been playing quite a bit. he's almost caught up to his total plate appearances from last year. He's fine. He's playing for a fourth game against lefties in left field. Then in the rotation, as anticipated, the guys have fallen back to earth, but it's overall been solid. Emilio Marquez has had a couple really bad games here. He had 9 runs, only 3 earned, but that was a real stinker from him. But overall, he's been good. Projected to throw almost 200 innings. At least he's on pace for that. Then Drew Hackenberg. We saw the regression coming after the hot start. And he's fallen back to earth in his last handful of starts. Hopefully he can keep himself at a respectable level, but we need him to at least pitch like a league average guy moving forward. And then Milt Allman's kind of rewritten his I don't know, maybe he's worked himself back into the rotation. He's had a nice run of starts here, worked his ERA to almost about league average. So after the horrible start he had, that's really a promising sign from him. Still, the control is an issue. That will probably never correct itself, but Patrick Sandoval has been a really quality starter here. You take away this start, and he's been really good this season. Tink Hence, same story. A couple of bad starts here, but besides that, he's been awesome. Above the league average. Great free agent signing so far. The bullpen, we are pretty bad. We are, 8th in bullpen ERA, and that's taking into account the season that Martin Blanco's having. Another follow-up to his reliever of the year last year. The strikeout rate has continued to fluctuate year to year, but he's been awesome. Charles been solid. A couple bad games here have inflated his ERA, but he's been good. And then Sam Simpson's also been solid, but as we go farther down, it's not been as pretty. So Gardini, I might release him pretty soon back to his original team. He's just probably not gonna make an impact on the squad. Braylon Marquez has been a huge disappointment. After playing a key role for our team last year, he's been awful, blowing a handful of games. He's been bad. And then Cam Robinson, 5.05 ERA. He had such a bad in May he was so bad. June he was bad. July has been good so far. I've moved him to more of a middle relief, mop-up duty guy. But yeah, it's been a disappointing first year. The FIP indicates that he'll probably come back to a more respectable level, but it's been bad for Robinson this year. But we'll hold him out at least until the trade deadline. Then Chevilly's been solid. He hasn't been too bad. But if he's my 3rd, 4th best reliever on this team, I'm a little bit nervous going into the playoffs. And then Talon Bell's been good in that swingman long relief role. Going to some prospects that I'm excited for. Johnny Colburn finally kind of producing in AAA. I think I'm going to give him some starts here down the stretch, just because we could use an arm. Robbie Watkins is pitching great in AA right now. He'll probably get a call up as we approach the trade deadline. Now the number 18 prospect in baseball. Super excited for him. The walks are still an issue, but he's had some better luck in his last few starts at the walks. PJ Morlando we did send down, but he's been crushing AAA. Probably going to call him back up coming down the stretch here. Balderas, I sent him up to AA when June began. He's been good there. He was good in high A as well. We got a couple of other prospects that we promoted in June, but nothing huge to report, I guess. Bumbre, who was our first round pick last year, he's up to AA. Hopefully, he could make an appearance on the team as early as late in the season. If he keeps producing like this, he was good in high A, been good in AA. Probably gonna get called to AAA as we approach the deadline here. But we're here at the first year player draft. And let's hop right into it. We have the last pick, 34th. And let's see this guy, Mike Clark. He looks pretty good, although, not the highest upside guy. I'm just looking at guys with high overalls. This guy's a 30. It's okay. This is all pitchers, though, so let's go to hitters as well. Medell's a nice high floor guy. Ian Stanley's pretty good, but I don't know where he plays defensively. Blatchard's pretty good, but let's see who that goes first overall. They take Chase DeGreat. Ouch, that's a tough pick. Mendel is a much better pick at number 2, and then Chris Bishop, he's fine. Let's go to our pick here. And let's see. I'm tired of these drafts taking so long. Ooh. Oh, the freaking movement's so bad, though. Jeff Word. Oh my god. I don't like his personality. Yeah, I'm kind of out on taking high school bats. They just never seem to work out for me. I guess for example, last year Mike Pearson we took pretty early in the draft. I don't even know where he is anymore. Here he is, Kevin Pearson. Still a decent prospect, but yeah, his contact just fell off 15 in potential. His power fell off 10, so he's no longer like a blue chip guy. Third round pick though, so it was like a roll of the dice. I kind of saw that coming, but for a first round pick, I don't think I'd do that again. Or take a high school guy like him. Yeah, I'm gonna jump off and we'll go to when I make the pick and we'll hop back in. All right, so we're back, and I think I have I basically have this pick, and then I have a pick a couple later. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 picks before our next pick. So hopefully the next guy falls to us. I think we're gonna actually take this guy Devon Self. He's a high schooler. I know I just went on a big rant about how I haven't had luck with these guys, but I like his floor as an 18-year-old. Maybe he can develop into a good center fielder potentially, but if not, he's a good corner outfield in this bat. He'll definitely play. I usually don't draft guys based on the potential rating, but he was the top-rated guy. I like this guy, Sean Spongel, but bad personality. Some other guys I was looking at. Let's see. I went through these names. This has taken me quite a bit of time to get some picks, but I like this guy, Mike Deli. And I think my next pick is going to be this guy, Kurt Fleming Jr. Pretty good personality and a good floor for an 18-year-old starter. Not a lot of good college arms in this draft. Kurt Gooding is also a guy I was looking at. He has really good defensive outfield and infield ratings, but probably a guy I'd taken like round 2 or 3. Then the other guy that I was really intrigued by was, the heck is he? Eric Boxberger. I like him, but I think these guys with this like really low control, it's hard for them to develop at the lower levels when it's lacking behind their other stuff. So I like him. If he's available in like round 3, I'd grab him, or maybe round 2, I'd grab him. But I'm gonna go with Self, and then hopefully our guy Fleming Jr. falls to us in round 2 or at our next pick. Self is under slot, so that's good. So we're gonna draft him. Let's take a couple picks. We'll see if he falls. I anticipate he will, and he does. Okay, so as I said, I'm gonna take Kurt Fleming. There were some other interesting players, I guess. Trying to see which names stick out to me. This guy was okay. Chris Thompson is an arm I like. I guess I don't know. I actually like him too. Maybe we can compare them here. So it should come up. Yeah. So Thompson's the other guy. So looking at their stuff potential, Fleming has the advantage. And current, they're both about the same. So it's really just what build do I like in the long term. I think I still like Fleming a little bit better. The stamina is better with Thompson, which is a big deal. But I think I'm going to go with Fleming here. I like his pitch mix a little bit more. I like the slider, splitter, curveball, cutter. He throws 92 to 94, so that'll play. So yeah, we're going to get Kurt Fleming Jr. here. Another guy under slot. And we'll see what falls to us at this next pick we have. Dan Foster would be really fun if he didn't have this low movement. So Boxberger's still here. I still like the upside. I love the upside, actually. I'm concerned about the pitch mix as well. The fastball, sinker, cutter, and the splitters is out pitch.
I'm not sure if there's enough variation, but man, if the changeup came along and this knuckle curve maybe ticked up a bit, he could be really intriguing. I love his frame 6'7". That's one of the reasons I like him. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna jump off camera because I didn't really have this pick planned out. So we'll come back when this is made. All right. So there's not a ton I love with this next pick, but I think I've settled on the pick that we're gonna make. I think it's gonna be Chad Fletcher. I like guys that don't have 20 current anything, just because they've shown a little bit of upside. He has low intelligence, which concerns me. But the changeup's at 25, so maybe that can develop. Is a better chance than maybe Boxberger, who, man, it is intriguing, and I do really like him. I'm kind of talking myself into it again, because I don't know, he just I love the upside, but I think I'm gonna go with Fletcher. The upside's solid as a starter. There's not a ton of hitters that I like. Buckaloo's good, but the defense concerns me. I don't know if he's even going to be a second baseman. He'll probably be stuck at first base, which, is fine, but I'd rather reserve that for a guy who's a real slugger. Another guy, I like Jeff Swire, but a corner outfielder that's not even a good corner outfielder. I don't know if it really fits our long-term looks. And I've kind of whiffed on a lot of these corner outfield bat first guys in the past. Because Mike Daly was still a guy I was looking at, but yeah, it kind of the herd kind of got thinned out here in this round. So yeah, I think we throw another dart at a pitcher here. So Chad Fletcher is probably the pick. And if Boxberger did fall another round, I'd grab him. So let's see what happens here. And he did. Okay, so I'm going to throw 3 darts at high school pitchers, see which one works out. We're now here in the 4th round, where we can start moving a little bit quicker. I might... nice. Fantasy team's doing okay. Dan Foster, I'm very intrigued by this, but he's fragile. I don't know. So I'm focusing on upside. For now that we have some money in this draft, I mean, we don't have a ton left. We only have $3 million, and I'd like to save a little bit of that for the deadline. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of gotten thinned out here. I don't want to throw another dart at a high school arm, but it's kind of looking like that's the route to go. Megenheimer is a nice high floor guy, but I don't know if that floor is even that interesting at all. Fastball, slider, screwball, sinker, nice pitch mix, high work ethic, good leader. The low movement is concerning. Yeah, I mean, it's the 4th round, these are just start throws anyway. So I'm really happy with how the first 3 rounds of this draft went, or first 4 picks. Shoot. Yeah, maybe another just high upside bat. I mean, McGee is a nice player. The defense isn't horrible. He could probably develop. The eye's concerning, but the rest of the makeup looks good. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to do with this pick. I don't know. I think we'll probably just throw a dart at McGee. The floor is pretty good for an 18-year-old. Yeah, who knows? Although I already have a couple of these guys in the system. One of them being Becerra, who's pretty well developed and is pretty much the same player. So I don't even know if that's worth it. Also, Joey Nelson's another guy in that mold. He's coming along well. Screw it. I might just go with Foster here, just for the heck of it. There's a ton of bust potential, but He looks like a fun player at the very least. And if that movement ticks up to like a 40, he can be a Cy Young candidate. Man, he had such a good year in high school. It's an insane season. But yeah, the floor is just so low. But screw it. He's only demanding slot. Although, $4 million, what the heck? Okay, never mind. We don't have enough money for that. Okay, we got to make a pick here. Kappelinger's pretty decent, actually. The floor is decent, although the avoid Ks is concerning. Mike Brooks is he's a little small in stature, 5'10", 160. It's like smaller than my build. How big I am. Dave Fisher I actually like. There's some defensive upside, and the bat's not horrible. He's durable. He's a lefty. Only 17. Plenty of room to develop. And I would like to throw some more darts maybe at a pitcher, but Nichols is there's a lot of issues there. Tim Wagner, side armor, yeah, no. I don't do side armors anymore after a couple bad experiences with them. Yeah, this pick is actually taking longer than I anticipated here. So I think I'm going to take Dave Fisher. The upside's good enough for a 4th-round pick, and the defense is good, so let's roll a dice with him. And Kappelinger's still here. Screw it. Let's take him. So we take all high school guys, I think, which is like, I don't typically do that, but yeah, I mean, this draft wasn't great for any college guys at our picks at least, and yeah, so I'll do the rest of the draft off cam. I'll come back with the results in just a second. Okay, so a quick look at how the draft went here. We took Self in the first round. We talked about him, talked about Fleming, talked about Fletcher, Boxberger, Fisher, yeah, I talked about him. Then we took Johnny Kapplinger. Vernon Belding was the 6th-round pick. Decent upside. Who knows? Dart throws at this point. Take this guy, Garth Avison. Joe Rogers, who I like the upside if the movement and control can tick up just a bit. He is fragile, so that's something to look at. And then Eric Warner, kind of the opposite. A durable guy with, like, medium upside. We'll see. If they have, and then Kurt Sanborn, good offensive, I guess, like, DH. maybe he can carve out a role. And then Colt Berg was a nice decently high floor catcher throwing our system. We took this guy, Jeremy Carlson, who had a bunch of pitches and good movement. J.R. Altenberg had some toolsy pitches, I guess. Mike Chambers was a high floor guy we could throw in our system, pitch some innings in the minor leagues. We took this guy Turon, who's probably a future reliever if he can live up to that upside. This guy had a good eye, so I took him. This guy was a decent pitcher in round 17. Josh Allen had some traits he avoid Ks and eye discipline, so gave him a shot. Chris Scott was our 19th round pick, and then we took this guy Sean Donner, who is a good defender and not a complete black hole with the bat. So there we go. Robbie Watkins still continues to pitch well in AA. Probably gonna give him the call to AAA once he gets his control under control. The farm system's kind of growing. We're up to 9th. We've kind of rebuilt this. Johnny Colburn's another guy who's knocking on the door. A guy who I'm probably gonna call up sooner rather than later. I just kind of need a roster spot for him. So where does that leave our team? So we're gonna have to see how we come up to the deadline and how we're doing. How this rotation holds up, because we have a ton of question marks with Allman, Hackenberg, even these guys, Sandoval and Hentz aren't like locked in. And Marquez has been a little bit shaky. So, and the bullpen's a complete disaster. So we're gonna have to rework a lot of this team coming into the deadline. I'm confident with the offense. I think this is a pretty good team, offensively at least. And yeah, so let's jump to the All-Star break here and see who we have. Acuna's hurt, but he's just DHing, so he should be fine. We get smoked, and the the bullpen continues to struggle as we give up 4 runs in the 11th inning. Maybe I should. Acuna should be fine. But then we pick up a win against Colorado, 6-4. Correa has 3 RBIs. Harris has a couple hits and a couple RBIs. Allman pitched well. He's kind of turned things around, and Cam Robinson continues to struggle for this team in his second stint with the squad. Definitely not working out that free agent signing, but we do win the series against Colorado, 5-3 victory. Molinex 3 hits, 2 RBIs, and Sandoval pitched pretty well, and the Chevalier and Simpson do a good job out of the pen. So we have a series against Tampa Bay and then Kansas City, and then we will head into the All-Star break. Tink Hence will be on the mound for this one. We win 5-1. Carson DiMartini, old Twins friend, leading off for them. Molinex has 3 hits. Kennedy, a couple of hits as well. So like to see that out of him. Hence a really good start, and the bullpen does a good job. And we have Marquez. Hopefully he can bounce back. 3-0 loss. Marquez pitched well, though, and then Robinson continues to just give up a ton of runs. And Blanco uncharacteristically gives up 1 too. So we have Hackenberg for this one. And he pitches well. 5-1 victory. 6 shutout innings for him. Bullpen does a solid job getting us out of the rest of the game. Off day, and we'll head to Kansas City for 3. And they're right in the mix with us in the Marlins right now. We're 59-37. Didn't really go over that at all, but yeah, we're 3 games up on the Marlins, 6 up on the Royals. Diamondbacks are above 500 as well, so kind of a big series here. Maybe we'll give Marquez the start in the 3rd game instead of Hence. So, or maybe Allman's pitched well, so let's give him the go. So, first game of the series, and we win 3-0, and Allman continues to pitch really well here. 7 shutout innings, his best start of his career. The walks continued to be an issue, but he got us 107 pitches, 4 walks, only 1 hit. Blanco and Charles close it out. And then we lose 8-6 in the second game. Rushman has 4 hits. Sandoval, quality start, but the bullpen, not a great job. And last game before the All-Star break, teams were just announced, but we'll have Marquez start this one. And we lose 2-0, so he's got no run support in his last 2 starts. Decent start from him and Robinson, Marquez, but no runs. That will not win you many games. So let's jump into the All-Stars, see what we have here. Here are the AL teams. The familiar faces. I don't think so. Let's see anyone that we've ever had on our team or anything. I feel like we've made a lot of trades with the National League, not with the AL. And man, Alton Davis, what a season. He's out for a couple months, though. It's unfortunate. But maybe Marquez can still Cy Young. He does make the All-Star team. 4.9 WAR. Wow. He's having just as good of a season as last year, maybe even better, but the results have not been there. And his record this year is just 8-6. Merton Blanco does make it as well, though, so that's cool. Is he like the starter? Oh, no. Okay. He's just the starting closer, I guess. Then Rushman makes it as the starting catcher. And we have Ronald Acuna making it as well. And Kira is the starting center fielder. And Mike Molinex, that's his second All-Star team. So good for them. Molinex breaking out the season, as we mentioned. And yeah, so we will we'll see him a couple days, pick up around the trade deadline, and see what we have to do at that point. Okay, so we're here right after the All-Star break, and I have my first trade to make. So it's just for a reliever, but we're giving up Se-Wong Nam, who He's been in AAA. He's kind of roadblocked by a couple different guys. He came up for 2 games and hit really well, but yeah, he's a little underwhelming for like a first baseman long term. But I could see him turn into a pretty good player. Then we're giving up this guy Jim Cummings, who's hitting really well in AA. 24 years old. There's definitely something there, but he's fragile, whatever. And then we're giving up Braylon Marquez, who had just had a really rough go this year. He's wrecked. He's due to start making some money. He's out of options. I just need to mix up the bullpen. So he's been good for us the last few seasons, but I guess, yeah, last year, and then he got hurt this season. But yeah, I'm ready to move on. We're going to pick up Dave McCrabb, who is a really good reliever, and he's very controllable. Like, he just got to the majors, former second-round pick. And yeah, he's gonna become like my bullpen ace probably. Good work ethic, good intelligence, low leader, but you know you can't have it all. He's only 26, so he can play a big factor on this team moving forward. Also get $2.5 million cash. So boom, we're gonna pull the trigger on that trade. So that begins the bullpen shakeup. So McCrabb will probably move into the 7th inning for me. It pushes Simpson to a less severe role, and then Gardini, I'm actually gonna release him back to the Cardinals, so that opens up a roster spot, and I'm gonna give it to Jax Bishop because he's been up in the majors, and I think he deserves a shot. He's pitched pretty well down in AAA this year, so gonna give him a run. They'll push Talon Bell into a more of a middle inning, middle relief role. For us, and I still need to find a spot for Colburn, who I want to get up here, but again, we just don't really have a roster spot for him. But we're gonna see how Robinson pitches down the stretch. Maybe Talon Bell's a guy we move out, but I still like him. So yeah, there you go. That's the first trade. We're July 25th, and I'm not sure what we can do with the offense. The block is not really filled with a ton of hitters at the moment. It's a lot of relievers, a lot of pitchers in general. I mean, yeah, Torkelson he's having a good year. He's a free agent after next season. The Giants are eating 95% of the deal, though. Honestly, kind of intrigued by this. But they want, like, real pieces. So, no thank you. Max Wagner's interesting, but he's not really having a good year. Lux is fine. Free agent after the season. This kind of feels what we've done with Jace Young the last couple of years. Bring him in to play some second and third. But honestly, I think the offense is pretty good. I don't think there's a ton of black holes. Like, Eddie L's got to play better, but I have faith in him. Stroman's been good. Harris is improving. Then we have like Smith and Harrington, who have been solid enough. I don't know. I think this offense is pretty good. We have guys like Bob Long, who has been promoted to AAA, hitting incredibly well. Then we have PJ Morlando still down here. He's crushing AAA. Greg Graves is an interesting player if we need him. He's hitting really well. Yeah, so I mean, I think the offense looks pretty good. We have some other guys like Vicente Valdera is on the way. Robbie Watkins will come up to the majors at some point, maybe later in the season. Yeah, so I mean, we'll sum up to the deadline, but I don't think there's a ton of other moves to make. As long as these relievers start pitching up to their pedigree, I think we should be in pretty good shape. But then again, I've thought this in past seasons, and it hasn't worked out. So maybe we just go all in and, you know, get these best relievers that are on the market and really push for this season, because you know, it's gotten to a point where this is kind of a joke where like we cannot play in the postseason for some reason. Blake Townsend is actually a really nice arm we can go grab. He's a free agent after the season. Doubt he'd cost a lot. He's definitely attainable. A guy like Jeremy Hall, I wouldn't mind giving up. I'd prefer not to, but Steve Gracek's another guy. Like, he's expanded his floor. He could be a good 5 starter. Bumbre probably not on the market. I mean, would it make sense to do like it's kind of a lateral move going from Townsend to from to Townsend from Robinson. Let me see what I can pull off. So let's go to our AAA roster. How about like Mike Haney? I like, but he was a late pick. I would actually kind of like that. Okay. I mean, do I really see this being a player long term? I'm not sure. He was a guy I liked when he came out of the draft. I pushed him really quick through the minors, and he's pitched well at every level. But I don't know about his long-term future. He's 24. I'm not opposed to that. I definitely would pull the trigger if we needed to, but you know what? Let's do it. We'll throw Mike Haney in. I like him, but to get a good reliever, I think it's worth it. Let's see if I can get them to eat this contract, though, so we're not completely strapped for cash coming down the stretch. Okay, so they'll eat a good amount. All right, so they'd eat half. That's fine. So Mike Haney, yeah, pretty good for a 10th round pick. We could flip him and turn him into a good reliever for the stretch run. He's a lefty. A lot of good pitches. And that does leave us with a roster crunch. I mean, maybe, I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out because Townsend's too good to really pass up at this point. Are there any other relievers that I like instead, though? Maybe someone can get a little cheaper. Jose Ferrer is interesting. I like the high control, although he's walked 4 guys per 9. It's interesting. Alexis Diaz, Oh, we could bring back Arias, who was at our team, but he's out for the year. Yeah, you know what? I think we're going to pull the trigger on this. We need bullpen arms, and let's just go for it, man. I mean, I'm tired of losing. Whatever it takes at this point to get us to another championship. It's been a couple of years now, and so I mean, Bishop, obviously I can send back down. I'd rather not. I want to give him a shot. Simpson I can send down, but he's been one of my better relievers. Chevilly's out of options. Bell's out of options as well. You know what? Okay, we'll send down Bishop for now, but I expect him to be up. So we bring in Townsend. And yeah, this bullpen's pretty intimidating now. We have a good mix of different types of players. A lot of strikeout guys, but we got like Sam Simpson, who's a ground baller. Blanco's just a beast. Wow, he's ticked up too. Man, if only that curveball ever came along, he could be a good starter. But fortunately, he's stuck in the bullpen. Yeah, so I think this looks pretty good down the stretch. Let's see how we do. I'll just sim the rest of this until the deadline. We win 8-0, first game back. Marquez, his best start as a Stampede player. Wow. Yeah, he's had a heck of a year. 8.1 on 97 pitches. Kind of wish they let him finish that game, but Molinex, 3 RBIs. Looking good. Milt Almond will grab the start in the second game. We win 7-5. Oh, great. Here we go with all the trades, and it's going to pop up every 2 seconds. Kira has 5 RBIs in this one. Pretty solid start from Almond. Robinson continues to suck. I'm not even going to say struggle. He just sucks. I don't know what's happened with him. I don't know why the results are so bad. We win 11-3. We sweep the Braves. Molinex, another 3 hits, and he's had a heck of a season, man. What a year. Kira continues to hit well. Rushman, Acuna, Taj Bell struggles, but that's fine. Tinkent's a really good start. So Sandoval grabbed the ball in game 1 of this Texas series, and we win 5-1. Nice game for the offense. We get enough runs. Kira drives in a pair. Really good start from Sandoval. And Hackenberg will grab the start here in the second game of the series, and we lose 3-1. Hackenberg, solid start, though. Townsend in his debut does well. McCraven, his not so much. And the deadline is tomorrow, so we'll sim one more game and then get out of here. So Marquez in this one, 10-3 victory. Finally getting some run support. Harrington drives in 4. Molinak drives in 3. Man, he's been so good, man. This is awesome. I mean, when we took him with the first overall pick, I knew it was a risk, and it didn't really look like it was going to pay off immediately. But man, he's emerged as a star player for us, and love to see it. Kira, another 2 hits. He's continued to hit well. Marquez, a solid start. Robinson, a good performance out of the pen. So that'll wrap up this episode. Thank you very much for watching. We'll come back next time in September. I'm guessing we'll have a pretty decent playoff race, unless we pull away or yeah, I'm sure we'll be back in September before the playoffs. So thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time. Peace.